Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada Vasser, and this is All Shades of Chocolate, where I'm bringing the sweetest, the hottest black culture to MSU. Hope you guys are well. It's nice to see you guys again. Nice to be in this room. Hey Taylor, all that. So I have somebody I have been trying to bring on All Shades of Chocolate since All Shades of Chocolate started. Literally years in the making. It's my sister! Y'all have heard this name many times before. I probably showed a picture of you before, video. They know who you are. It's Janae, y'all.
Hi.
Welcome. I've been trying to get you on. Here you go. I told you don't act up. I told you.
I said one word.
I said don't act up. Now, like I said, I've been trying to get you on here for the longest time. How does it feel to be on All Shades Chocolate?
It feels good.
Thank you for being here, bro. It feels good having you on here. I'm here to shout you out. This is about you. This is about film. We're talking about being black in the film industry. Yes. We have a lot of points. We talked a little too much about it out there, and we basically wrote 2 pages of stuff we want to get into. So before we get into that, I want to give you the floor. Introduce yourself, because Janae is not a Michigan State student. No, she's not. She goes to Lansing Community College, which 10 out of 10 school. I've been to her campus. I've met some of her classmates, professors. It's a really, really good school. So if you go to LCC, shout out to you. But yeah, I want her to introduce herself. What's your major? What do you like about the film industry? How did you get into it? How did you know this was something that you wanted to do? Because I have a little bit of the answer, but this is your time to tell the people.
Okay. As you know, my name's Janae, like she said. A lot of people call me Nay. She called me Twin Thing, all that stuff. Like she said, I go to Lansing Community College. It's an amazing school. I love that school a lot. I met a lot of good people through there. I met a lot of good people who done film and stuff like that. I actually met somebody who was in one of my classes that actually won an Emmy for a documentary he did. It was very good. It was about menstrual stationary stuff for people in third world countries that don't have that stuff. It was really good. I watched it. He did a good job. But yeah, my major is digital media and cinema, which is basically film. It's just a fancy way of saying it. Hobbies, I would say I love listening to music. I also write. I'm writing a book right now. And I just got a gaming PC desktop. I love it. She been on it playing Sims.
It's mine.
Literally bugs me about it. So
absolutely, I have to.
And I would say what got me into film was just growing up. We went to the movies a lot and saw a lot of great stuff. I can't remember if it was a horror movie or was it the Avengers, but it was some movie my mom showed me and I really loved it. And it was just about her explaining it to me, explaining how they did it and the plot and stuff like that really interests me. So I always wanted to get into how they write the script, how they pick out their people to do the casting, and then how they do the sets design and stuff like that, and the makeup. It just really interests me.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, like I said, we want to talk about a lot of different things with the film industry, a lot of things that they do good and a lot of things that they do bad. So getting into industry as big as film, how would you say you want to make your mark? When you be out there as that director, what do you want to do differently than what everybody else is doing?
The type of movies that I always loved watching was the ones that comfort me or relate to a problem I went through. I feel like you can make a connection more with your audience if you give them something to relate to, whether it's a character, whether it's a moment or experience or an issue that somebody has had in their life. It makes you feel they're talking to me, but through a screen and through many different people, but everybody get what's going on. And I just feel if you do that, it makes people stand not them stand out more, but you stand with them, you're with them through it, and basically.
I love that. I told y'all this is why I want her on here, because look, I know a little bit about film. Like I said, they know I'm a documentary production minor, so I do a little bit about film. I know a little bit about the camera, but that's not mainly what I want to do as a career. So I definitely know that some of the things that you want to do, I have done, and even some things you've done, we've done together. A little bit of stuff will be intertwined, but you definitely, creativity is all Janae. I am creative. I'm working on it. My creativity definitely comes out in writing, or if something comes to my head, I can put it into words. But if you ask me to make it a video, That is where I fall short. Janae can make anything into a video, and then she can also draw really well. She didn't pick that up either.
Oh,
she
yeah,
can draw it beautifully. Like, creativity, thinking outside the box, anything that comes to her head, she's like, I just thought of this idea. What if we have 3 people in this room and they get chased by this guy? And I'm like, hold on. How did you think of this in 10 minutes? Definitely all her. So film is definitely what you need to do. But yeah, so basically, to start off, again, last episode we talked about representation in literature. We wanted to get into representation with Black characters, more specifically in a lot of animated movies or animated TV series. One that we definitely talked about out there that I kind of forgot that I definitely want to highlight here. The Disney show for Tiana got canceled. Princess Tiana was supposed to get a TV series with Disney, and it was all hyped up, and it was supposed to come out around the same time Mufasa came out, because remember, those 2 promo Instagram reels, and they promoted it at the same time.
Are we really shocked, though? Are we really shocked?
I wouldn't say we're shocked. I'm disappointed. I mean, I'm always disappointed, but, like, shocked, no. But the fact that the promos for Mufasa and Princess Tiana were the same time.
What promos did you see?
You didn't see the Instagrams?
The Instagrams?
Yes. It wasn't a lot, but it was a lot of posters like, oh, coming out August 2025 or summer 2025.
Because they wasn't promoting that enough.
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't reaching people. That's for sure. It wasn't as much as Mufasa.
I probably saw one, but that was about it. Mufasa was everywhere.
Yeah,
that's actually a good film though.
Yeah, right. No shade to Mufasa. That was actually a really, really good movie. But it's the fact that you have these characters, or even when we talk about out there cosplaying, and it's the fact that you have these characters that are meant to represent different people, but they're not accepted, or the fact that they could go beyond the reach and break those stereotypes and break the means and be that TV show that other people need, it's not accepted. So as a filmmaker and someone who's writing, like I said, she's writing a book, so check that out, and you know, you're in your head, you're creating these characters. What is your character development scheme? How do you sit down and make a character? Because when I had my episode with Rael, who's our environmental reporter for the State News, we talked a lot about how sometimes characters in literature fit the box. Nobody reached out the box when they have make a character. You got the jock, and you got the cheerleader, the blue-eyed white girl with the blonde hair, and then you got the guy who's chasing after her, or she's chasing after him, and you know, they fall in love, or somebody gets cheated on, and you know, how do you build your character scheme and make your characters unique?
Oh, that's a very good question. Like I said, I want people to be able to relate to what I'm talking about, especially since I'm like writing for my people, like Black women, Black men, all that stuff. Even some people of color, I put that in there too. But like, I want you to be like, I would say stuff that is in our culture, like what we grew up with. Like, for instance, I have this idea for like a short film about the corner store. Now, you know, our Uncle Ronald used to take us to the corner store like every chance he get. That was like, we would literally walk down from Mama's house to the corner store just to get candy. So I would want to do something like that. Like, you know, we grew up in like what people call the ghetto or the trenches, but you know, we grew up on that side. But and there was a lot of stuff that we did that doesn't get highlighted enough, like going to the corner store or being watched over your great grandmother's house while your mom and grandma go hang out somewhere else, or just like going to the park or something like that, or hanging out with the next door neighbor kids and stuff. I just really want to know that the Black experience isn't always about trauma and struggle. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of good times growing up. And yes, it's life. We are going to struggle, and we are going to go through things that we don't want to go through. But we had good times. Like, I can name you a bunch of good times I had throughout my childhood that I actually really, really miss. But it's like we don't always have to go on the bad. We can go on the good.
Yeah, it's definitely important you say that, because there's definitely a trend you see with Black films, Black characters, or Black story plot lines that people create that have that sense of struggle. I don't know when struggle and Black people became so incoherently tied together, but I've never seen a character, or there's very few characters that are Black that don't come from the ghetto, or they didn't come from a time where they had to struggle, where they didn't have a lot. There's very few characters that get put in a realm of success or a realm of riches in literature and in film, so where they already started off good. You know, they didn't have to work for what they had. They already had a lot. And that doesn't mean to say they didn't have to work for the next level, but there's not a lot where they start with something. A lot of people come from nothing and then make something. But yeah, like you said, even coming from nothing, there's a lot of good times in the nothing. We don't have to talk about how, you know, paying bills was so hard. We could talk about what we did in between time when we didn't have a lot. We could talk about the games that we made to pass the time and the way that that connected us closer together because we didn't have a lot. I feel like the connection portion definitely gets lost when talking about black films, and people are too comfortable assuming black people come from nothing.
Yes, because, like, not every black person grew up in the hood or stuff like that. It's a lot of black people that grew up in the suburbs. It's a lot of black people that grew up being middle class or even higher class and stuff like that, depending on where they came from. Not to mention, I'm not tired of it, but I don't want to keep seeing the awkward or weird black girl in film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like,
oh
I'm an awkward person. I'm not gonna lie. I could get awkward sometimes, but other times, like, why can't we have a black girl's, like, dim-headed? She's, like, she want all this fancy stuff, like Legally Blonde. Why can't we have a black person like that? Or why can't we have a black person that's, like, want to be a doctor or something like that? Or that wants to be... Of course, we're going to always have the black person. Another thing I'm tired of a black man being a jock. Like, okay, black men are good at sports. We get it.
It's kind of played out.
Oh, my God. Like, why can't we have one that's, like some that are super nerdy or some that wants to be, like, dim-headed or wants to be, like, popular or something like that? Like, why can't we have that, too? Why do I always have to be in those two specific categories?
That, and can we please retire the black funny character?
Oh, my God.
That's there to fill in.
God.
That you obviously can tell... They're the first of all, the character that comes to my head a lot when I say this is Good Luck Charlie. What was her name on that show?
I love her. I love her as the actor,
it was Teddy's best friend or something like that. It was one of the only black characters on that show, so everybody knew who I'm talking about. But it was a black woman, but everything she said was funny. Every time she spoke, the laugh screen or the voices would start laughing, and it's like the only thing she was there was for comedic relief.
Now that you said that, can we stop when the black person is the comedic relief that they have to be aggressive, like they grab your shirt or something like that, be like, I'll mess you up or something. Like, can we stop that? Like, no, not every black person's gonna come up to you and do that. Like, no.
And I think about it is, I think a lot of it comes from some writers or even maybe some directors feel like they have to make a character that's out of the box for black people. Yeah. Like, they think that when they hire a black actor or they get someone who wants to play this role, that the role that they created isn't enough for them, or maybe it doesn't represent black actors. I don't know how to put it, but something in my head makes me feel like these characters are written and the lines are written to represent them in this way. Like, black people can't be normal people, like the normal roles. Like, flip the script if Teddy's best friend and Teddy switched, so the black girl was Teddy and then Teddy was the other girl. Like, you couldn't see that as comedic relief, or you couldn't see someone like that playing that huge quote unquote of a role. So then they give it to the black person, but it's very dehumanizing and it's very detrimental because that's all they'll see you as. Exactly. So say that actor, which I feel like she said this in an interview or something, she wanted to go do a more serious role. If that's where you start off, or if that's all people know you as is funny, it's going to be really hard for if you want to play that villain, or if you want to play that doctor. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to play that detective, they're not going to take you seriously because people have always been giving you the lesser roles.
Yes, because like Kevin Hart, this man never played a serious role. He's always the funny guy. And I can never, even just to me, I can never see him doing a serious role because he's always the comedic relief. Him and The Rock, they're always doing something funny. So if they were like in a serious role or something like that, I feel like people would never take them seriously.
Yeah, and with that, though, we definitely have another point of these executive producers who are black and these directors who've definitely broken that and have definitely paved the way to show you that black people can be these superheroes, these mythical characters, these serious characters, these characters that give you the plot line, like the meat and potatoes of a movie. They can be those people. So to shout out a few of those people, definitely Issa Rae. Issa Rae was an executive producer on One of Them Days, and she was, I think, a producer and the lead of Insecure, which I loved Insecure. I've rewatched that show like 4 times, I think, and we just saw One of Them Days. I want to go see it again. Marsai Martin, definitely a very young executive producer. She won an award for being the youngest black executive producer, I believe.
She does she got a lot of campaigns. She been doing a lot of stuff for herself, and I love her.
She does her thing. My girl Keke Palmer, who was also an actor in One of Them Days, and if if you remember Keke Palmer from back in the day, True Jackson VP was that show. It didn't deserve Nickelodeon, okay? The audience it had, I was such a True Jackson VP stan. I didn't understand why people didn't like the show. That was like one of the only black shows on Nickelodeon at the time it was coming out, and it was so good. And then, of course, you got to highlight Stormy Reed, her thing. She really put black people on the map, especially for those mythical movies, I would say, because when she was in A Wrinkle in Time, like the way she played her character and the breakthrough that created as far as like just seeing a black person in these different worlds and time traveling, like she really did her thing. And of course, Ryan Coogler. I mean, we have to give credit to the man who made Black Panther and literally brought us the black. R.I.P. Chadwick, man, who brought us the black superhero. We cannot have a list like that without highlighting him for Black Panther 1 and 2, because he did his thing with 2 as well.
I think he worked on that. It's a new black horror movie that's coming to theaters. I think it's actually out now. I think he's the executive producer on it.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it looks
and
so
Jordan
good.
Peele.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah.
Because that, and I don't. What is the name? It's like the woman on the stairs.
Woman in the Yard or something like that.
Woman in the Yard or something. Yeah, it looks really good if y'all have seen the advertisements. But yeah, these are the people that, these movies that you're watching, it's made by black people for black people. Like, have you ever seen One of Them Days? The stuff that they're doing and the way that they're going so hard to get this rent money. Oh, sorry if you ain't seen it, but you should have seen it by now. So, you know, little spoilers, but not too much. But the way they're just going about trying to figure out solutions to these problems. I literally talked to Janae and I was like, that's literally what we would have did. If somebody came to us and said, you need to give my money by 6 p.m., there wouldn't be nothing stopping us from getting that man his money at 6 p.m. Like, the things that they went through definitely was relatable, like you said, and it takes people like this to make these movies so relatable, because I wouldn't have got that same feeling watching a movie if it was 2 white actors doing it.
Yeah, I want to be able to get it, because somehow they would have got it way easier.
They would have got it way easier. And 2, you also got to think of setting. If it was 2 white actors, that movie would have been set in like the hood, the ghetto word, which I don't like these words, but or the hooder parts of town. Yes. It would have been set in more suburban areas. Houses look alike. You know, everybody got a full paying job. All the houses come, with everything they need. And that's another thing too. When I say for black people by black people, it's relatable in the sense of the way that they were living, how they treat the black residents versus the white ones. Because when that white lady moved in and her house had everything, and Keke Palmer character was like, "You got AC? We ain't had AC in 2 months."
Countertops, yes, marble countertops.
She was like, "It looked just like the website," and they were like, "Oh,
right." And Keke and SZA's apartment had holes in it, roof falling and stuff like that.
And it's to show you that these things are real life. Yes, this is a movie, but these are real things that black people actually go through. Applying for an apartment, they're going to give you, probably if you don't do your research and really push, they're going to give you the lesser end apartments, not the way that it looks on the website. That's why they always say, or our mom always say, if you apply for an apartment or a house, go see it in person, because then pictures is not going to be how it look in person. Exactly. They take all the nice pictures, but they're not going to give you what their advertisement. They want to get you to sign it first and then leave you with the rest. So a movie like that definitely showcases how you got to take what you're dealing with. That's all you got. You got to learn how to live with it, and you got to keep it moving. So yes, definitely that. And then like I put on here, figuring out solutions by any means necessary. Like that movie highlighted that black people stop at nothing. Exactly. We make everything out of nothing because we had no choice. So if you give us a problem, we're going to make a solution. It may be crazy, or we may have to do something drastic or extreme.
Like how
but we're going to get you your
was
solution.
Getting the shoes out the wire. She was trying to get the shoes.
Which, first of all, that scene itself was so funny, because as a kid, I'm always like, why is people's shoes up there? Or like seeing the shoes on the wires, I'm like, whose shoes is that? Who put them up there? But her going up there to get them shoes and getting electrocuted, I was like, stop, please, actually no.
That was hilarious.
But yeah, no. So yeah, definitely that. And then, like I said, we do want to talk about the good, but there also is still some really, really bad for black actors and producers in the film industry, specifically actors who are overworked and underpaid. And I know you wanted to talk a lot about, the actors and the stuff they go through.
Oh, it's getting serious. Okay.
It's getting serious.
The number one person I want to highlight is Taraji P. Henson. She was a she was a big star at Empire, and then she also had did a couple other films. I can't name them off the top of my head, but she's very well known throughout the industry. And it sucks to hear. I think she went on a podcast or she did an interview saying that she's still underpaid for all the roles that she has done. And it really sucks because she's a really good actor and you can tell she really enjoys doing this. But to hear that the clothes that she wears for like award shows and stuff like that is borrowed and she has to give that back, or that she's living paycheck to paycheck and stuff like that, it really sucks because you think that, like how you said, we think that it's all life and glam because you're an actor and stuff like that. But really, if you're not really like a white counterpart, you're not getting paid that much.
Yeah, really I definitely brought up that. And I really like that, the black actors or the producers are really coming out and being vulnerable with their pay gaps, because I think when you put celebrity behind anybody's name, or you put actor, or you put musician, or you put director or writer and composer, average people, I won't say normal people because I feel like they're normal people too, but average people would get the mindset of, oh, they're living in this big house in Hollywood and they got two-door garages and they have butlers and, every award show they go to, it's custom made and these are the gowns that they keep, when it's like, no, these worlds and the way that they're living, like you said, a lot of people who go on the red carpet, those dresses are rented. So it's really, they make sure that they don't mess up those dresses because they have to give it back to the designer, or they're paid out for a specific amount of time and they have to give those garments right back. So those dresses aren't even theirs. You know what I'm saying? And it was so crazy to hear that. I'm like, that would make me feel like I still didn't make it. Like, I can do 10 movies, but the fact that I have to put on this luxurious gown and really feel like, wow, I made it, and I gotta give it back. And I know it's a materialistic thing, but you gotta understand, these are the accolades that you deserve when you make it that far. Taraji P. Henson having to give back her dress? Like a woman, we talking about a woman who's in Empire, older black movies, Baby Boy, Hidden Figures. Like, she's done these top star roles and has acted her butt off ever since she's got in this industry. And she's still not reaping what she's sowing. And it's really mind-boggling when you get people where it's like, oh, that's not true, or, everybody is treated equally in this industry. It's movies. What do you expect? It's film. This is how film works. If this is how film works for you, because it's meant to benefit you. You know what I'm saying? It was never meant to benefit these people, but that doesn't mean it's okay. And now we should be at an age where, like, okay, let's make it benefit everybody. Let's make it benefit these people. They put in the work too. And sometimes they put in the work more than you. And they still don't get what they deserve. You get it just because you're white. And the pay gap in every industry is so drastic. Doesn't matter if it's film or what, but the film is so interesting because these writers can go on writer strikes, where that period where we didn't have no new TV shows coming out or no new films. And I was meant to show you that you can't succumb these people to these working situations. People aren't going to sit down and not get what they deserve. You have to treat people fair. There's no other way around it. Exactly. Or we're not going to get nothing. We didn't have no movie for, a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah.
We were sitting around like,
they pushed back Stranger Things. They pushed back so many everything. Shows because a lot of people did not want it to come to the limits. They didn't want us to come to it. And it's really unfortunate we have to go as far as striking, because you would think that writers or anybody in those deans where they're not in front of the camera, they would still get the work. They make the show. Exactly. They tell you what to say. So how are we going to sit here and say, oh, they're not going to get it paid equally, or they're not going to get as much, when you wouldn't have a show without them? Exactly. It's really confusing to me. I don't understand it. I mean, I wish another person would be here and be like, yeah, this is why. It wouldn't make no sense. But at least be here and give, that other explanation, because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, and definitely and this is another thing, the actors that are like who they are, I talked about this a little bit. It's crazy, like when everybody talks about, what's your story? What's your story? How did you start in the industry? How did you get here? And some people were like, oh, I took acting classes, I went to acting school, I got a little bit of help. That's not what happened for black folk. We don't get those resources.
We don't have those resources. Like, most of the black people grew up that are actors now, they probably didn't have like somebody say, oh, you should go to this school, or you should go there, you should go there. I'll refer you
here, I'll help you get in here, I'll help you with the application. Yeah. There's none of that. It's definitely, you saw a gift, you worked on it yourself, you practiced it yourself, you landed a spot somewhere at the bottom, or you landed a spot somewhere where you never thought you would get, and then you worked your way up from there. It was never mentor, no. Most people find a mentor like on their way, another black person who's been there for so long, who sees like a younger black actor starting out, they're like, okay, I'll help you out, things like that. But as far as starting out, that's all you.
Exactly.
That's all you. So I guess another question I have for you, Janae, is because you want to be a director, you don't necessarily necessarily want to act.
Yeah, I want to be a director, a screenwriter, and an author.
So when you have these, come on, triple entendre, okay, I like that. But when you have these things, let's talk about director, and you have these sets, and you're about to start casting people, and you see, you know, the differences in your people. You know, you have people who are more qualified just because they're experienced, and you have people that really want to make this shot to get out there, to put their foot in the industry. How would you handle that balance, and how would you make sure that everybody gets their, you know, equitable, I should say, opportunities to land in your film?
That's a good question. Well, if I see somebody that is more qualified and they do fit the role, I would personally go with them. But if I see the person that is trying to make it work and that has some parts but not fully for the part that I'm looking for, I could try to see if they fit the other role that I have. Because just because you're not qualified and you haven't been here a long time doesn't mean you're not good. It just means you need to work on it. And basically, if I gave them like a role that could be with some lines, it could be just doing like an action or something like that, it can help them get to where they're at. And I feel like I could try to give everybody an opportunity that meets their needs.
Yeah, I like that. And this is a question that you said you definitely want to talk about. We were out there going back to representation, so I'm about to read it verbatim. Why does the film industry want black people to relate to whiteness so bad?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I've been waiting to answer this one specifically. Because recently, I forgot her username, but it's this TikTok influencer that I follow, and she was talking about this exact point. She was basically saying that the reason why it's not a lot of representation or something like that is because they never wanted us to relate to us. They want us to relate to whiteness, because that's all they promote is whiteness. And it's just crazy to me because, like we were talking about earlier, if it was two white women in one of them days, I cannot relate to the movie, because it's like we said, they would easily find an easier way to get it. They probably would get it somehow, like from their parents or something like that. And I just feel like when it comes to like how I said with Legally Blonde, like, why can't we have a black person that's dim-headed and stuff like that? We had to like make those characters in our head ourselves, because it's a lot of people that relates to like Legally Blonde and stuff like that, or relates to being the main character or the popular person, but they won't get emphasized because they're black. They want us to feel like that whiteness is like the key goal in each, like in the world, like they're the beauty standard and stuff like that, which is not true, because everybody, whatever color you are, is beautiful. And I just feel like we just need to get more, especially black people and people of color, just more in that light of being like the standard in the industry.
Absolutely. And once you start that train, obviously starting something like that, it's going to be very uncomfortable, because even the people that are breaking the barrier and, you know, doing it themselves, it's very uncomfortable. It's not a comfortable thing having so many eyes on you because they think it's wrong. It's different if you have eyes on you and people are like, oh, I love that. Like, that's so unique. I love that. I want to do that. But that's not necessarily the case for the people that's breaking through in these things, because people are looking like, I don't want to watch that. That's wrong. Right. This is not how my Little Mermaid looked. You know, there was so much discourse about the Black Little Mermaid, and there was so much stuff with, you know, just that's not the story of the Little Mermaid. That's not how this goes.
Or like with Anthony Mack being Captain America. Oh, that's not my America. This is not how I see America.
Still hate the character Captain America, though. He's just bad throughout. No disrespect to Anthony Mack. I just hate Captain America. Right, Iron Man all day, you know, but you ain't hear that from me. But yeah, it's the same thing, you know. He's getting a lot of flack because people aren't used to seeing black people in roles of those high-powered superheroes like Captain America. And not to say when he was Falcon, he was any less, you know, underneath, but it was a background character. He came in and he did his little lines and he did his fight scenes, whatever, but Captain America was on screen. So when you step into roles like that, and I'm sure he understands it, being in the industry, especially being in Marvel for so long, he understood that it would come with a price. It would come with people not wanting to watch it simply because he was black. Absolutely. People running their mouths and saying, you know, I don't like this. Why did we have to change anything? Or where's Chris Evans? Why can't he just keep going?
It literally follows the comics that they're going off of.
If you read the comments, you know, this Marvel is following a book. You know, there was a book that was made, and Marvel is following this book that was written. These aren't new. Most of these ideas aren't new. They're following the comics that were pre-written, and they're making movies out of it. Come on now, y'all.
It was crazy. Is another black character that's in Marvel is, I hate saying this, but the Black Iron Man. The dude that be, see, you don't even know. See, the dude that be wearing the silver.
I know who you're talking about. I was like, huh? I know who you're talking about now.
We have to call him the Black Iron Man because he don't really have a name,
What is his character name?
I don't know.
Rodney, that's his name. Rodney. That's what that is. Yeah, Rodney.
I didn't think he had.
Yeah.
But what's his superhero name though?
That's all I got for you. That's all I got.
Exactly. Like,
but that's still a good example though, especially like. We're putting black in front of these names where all we have to say is Iron Man. Like, you know, like putting the Black Captain America, which I've been seeing going around, like, oh, we have a Black Captain America. Like, no, we have a Captain America. Like, yes, he's black. We understand that. But
right.
We have a Captain America. It shouldn't have to be so jarring to where... So for the next 4 years, you're going to reference Captain America as the Black Captain America. Like, we're not just going to say Captain America. That's kind of crazy to me. To where we have to shift our language or shift how we refer to these things just because a black person is withholding that position. Exactly. That he's still Captain America, regardless if he's black or not. But now people are going to always see that he's a black one, so they're going to say the Black Captain America. Which is crazy how society changed their language to think that they're being inclusive and think that they're bringing people in when they're actually not. They're actually separating more than they're helping. Exactly. Because that's separating him from all the other Captain Americas. That's separating him from the recent Captain America, Chris Evans, who's white. To where they're not both Captain America, one's a white one, one's a black one. So it's doing more harm than good, honestly. But no, those are definitely good points. And another thing, especially with talking about that, is how would you describe woke culture in the film industry? So wanting to come in and make movies with how many people are saying, oh, I hate being woke and all the kids are woke these days and, you know, back in my day and all that stuff. How would you describe what being woke is?
First off, I hate that word. I see it in every little thing when it's talk about a person of color or a black person being in some type of film. But if I have to talk about the person that says, like, oh, everything is woke, I would assume that it means, like, oh, why is everybody turning black now? Why is everybody being a person of color now? Like, basically saying, like, why are you making white characters into black characters? Which I agree, we shouldn't be doing that. I feel like if you're going to have a black character, make it original, like have an original story with it. But also, I saw a comment, I think it was either on Threads or Twitter or even Instagram. They were saying that, oh, just check out Disney. Everybody's black now. I said, what? Everybody is not black. It's only one black princess. Every other princess is white, or Mulan, who's Asian, and then we have we just had got like a Hispanic family, Encanto, and then we had got like what else?
We're just now getting there.
Right.
All these different
We're
things.
just now getting here, and it's just like, no, everybody is not black.
And first of all, can we also, with that connotation, I think when a lot of people say, especially with Disney, oh, look at Disney, they're all black, I think that also further ties into how miseducated people are with race and ethnicity and how people cannot tell the difference between different ethnicities and races, because everybody not black. Look, they may be darker skinned, but everybody's not black. Right. There are brown people in this world that they're trying to represent too, but you can't label everybody as black, because you're boxing all these different people in that have different life stories, that have different life struggles. Yeah, they may relate in a bad way with racism and discrimination, but these cultures are different, and you can't label everybody as black, because we're not all black. All these princes, they're not black.
They're not. They only have one black princess.
They're not black. These stories they don't even relate to the black community, because we don't experience them. This is a whole different community of people here and culture. Like Encanto, beautiful movie. I don't relate to nothing about that. But when that movie came out, I saw so many people calling them black, and so many people like, oh, we finally have more representation for the black people. Yay. I said, what?
Yeah, it's representation for black, but it's also representation for people who are mixed as well. That like if you come from a Latino family, or you're Afro-Latina, it shows you what you grew up with. Like, I was so surprised when they showed like them actually speaking their language and stuff like that, and showing their heritage. But it's like, that's not fully black. Like, if we're talking about black, we're talking about African American black. Like, in America, we don't see that.
The tone. That is not the same thing. But that goes to show that, you know, first of all, schools don't teach y'all that, and they also don't teach it the right way, because that's kind of how, like, elementary, middle, and high schools even try to teach it. That they try to teach it, they're like, oh, there's white, And then there's everybody else. Like, if you ever filled out a document where it say Black or African American, and it's have the parentheses Hispanic or non-Hispanic, yeah, that's their way of just, pretty much trying to lump everybody together and not having all those boxes that represent everybody. And it's really good you popped up biracial people, because I'm in a communication diversity class, and we speak a lot about how do we label, or where do these people fit in? Exactly. Because, for example, if you're Black and white mixed, you're either too Black or you're not white enough. So the Black community is not going to take you because they think you're too white, but the white community is not going to take you because you are Black. So where do you go? And it sucks to see that there are these people, and it really also ties into film, because that's where you kind of try to represent for the wrong reasons. Yeah. Because instead of getting somebody who's fully Black that could play a role, you get a mixed person. Light skin and their beauty standard. Exactly. They look better on camera. Not my words. Words I've definitely heard from having, different conversations. I heard that and so many times opinions too. People have, but the lighter, fairer tones. And it's funny because I had a presentation in that class too, where I talked about my experience as a journalist, getting different internships. And what, journalism, people always ask you, oh, do you want to be on TV? Is that something you want to do? And I always say, well, no, I can never see myself as like a news anchor and things like that, but I give it a try. And I've definitely gotten you definitely have to change your hair. That color's too much. And it's going to be harder for you because you are a darker skinned Black woman. Mm-hmm. Now, as you can tell, my twin sister here, yes, we are twins. I'm the older one. She is a lighter skinned Black woman, but she's still Black. So a lot of the things she will go through as far as the work industry would be kind of easier for her because of her skin tone. And
I agree with you, because even when we were going through school, like high school, people would comment like how certain things about me and say different stuff about you, and I never got that until I realized, oh, it's colorism.
Yeah, colorism. And colorism is very big in the Black community as well, too.
That's
it's
another
so
thing
huge.
You gotta address.
Literally. Like, yes, and that's what you brought it up. High school, like, oh, Janae, so what she is, beautiful. And, all of that stuff. But when it came to me, who's obviously a lot darker than Janae, and kind of the darkest one of our whole intermediate family, yeah. I get different connotations with my words. I get different meaning. And exactly. I can pick it up to words like...
Some people even think we lie when we say we're twins. I'm like, no, just because she's darker than me doesn't mean we're not twins. Like,
I just stopped fighting. I'd be like, yeah, I lied. We're not
another
twins.
Thing, Black women are the only women in the world that can produce children that come out different type of colors. So, that point with that.
You can have the lightest child in the world and still be Black, and you can have the darkest child in the world and they still be Black. Black comes in all shades.
I think it's called an Eve gene, yeah. Something like that. Yeah,
it comes in all shades and all colors, and it's beautiful regardless, but it's still Black. But that doesn't mean that you should give the lighter Black people a better chance than the darker ones.
Exactly.
Because they're still Black at the end of the day. We all have the same struggles and we come from the same place. You know what I'm saying? We can give the same things. But yes, that's definitely true, and I definitely feel like it's so true in film. It's something that I wish would change, because when you have that on-screen time, when I see a dark-skinned Black woman or even Black man on the screen that's like even darker than me, Stevie's complexion on the screen in the film, I get so excited, because I can just imagine the naysayers who look at him or her and it's like, wow, I don't like that. Or just see it and it's like, wow, you sure they know what they're doing? Like, really just nitpicking and basically saying that, oh, they can't do this. For what? They have the expertise. They have the experience. They've done it before. What's the difference between you wanting them or not? Oh, they just don't fit our image. They don't fit our brand. It's not who we're going for. Just say it's because they're dark skinned. That's all it is. That's literally all it is.
The appearance that you want.
Literally. Okay, and I guess something that we can end on for this episode. So me and Janae are very big, like you said earlier. We do a lot of video gaming and we watch anime. We're pretty big anime fans. She got me into anime and got me back into anime, because I definitely was one of the people that was like, oh, anime trash. And like, oh. But she got me back into it. And a lot of the huge things we've talked about is how a lot of cosplayers that want to cosplay these characters are Black. Mm-hmm. But we enter a community that is not welcoming. We enter a space that is not welcoming to Black cosplayers because these characters aren't Black. So it's kind of like to what you said. Why are you portraying a character that isn't you? So what would you say about your cosplaying experience? Have you got any negative connotations of cosplays you've done? We also go to this convention called DreamCon.
Shout out RDC.
Shout out RDC, you know, collab or something, Mark, you know, just saying. But to put it in more simpler terms, it's basically the Black Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Comic-Con is this big, you know, event where all the, you know, cosplayers come for your different video game or anime or even TV show that's animated, and you come and you can dress as these characters. DreamCon is the same way for Black people. It's a space where you're not judged, where you're not harmed for representing a character you really, really like, even though they're not Black. You can come and you can be these characters, and you can meet other people who like the characters as well. Like, they have different segments of like DreamCon cosplays, Demon Slayer cosplays, what I meant to say, which shout out Demon Slayer, can't wait till that comes back on. And then Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, One Piece, like all these people that want to dress up as these characters can come together and just have fun. And you can be like your character, you can say lines from the show, like it's super, super fun, and it's just welcoming. So how would you say your experience has been as far as, you know, wanting to, you know, cosplay and just show homage to these characters?
Well, the last few times we went, this last year was our third year, right? Going there?
I think so.
Yeah. Last few times I had cosplay as somebody from Jujutsu Kaisen. I cosplay as somebody from...
Oh my God, Taylor did too. The day they walked in, they were ghetto. And I saw them and I was like, you're a character, but I can't put my finger on it. And then they said it, I was like, yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Shout out JJK, I love JJK.
And then I was something else. I can't remember. But fast forward, this year I'm going to be Dracula from Monster High, because Monster High was my stuff growing up. I loved that show. And I'm going to be I said I'm going to be Dracula, right? And, you know, I kind of feel like if I were to post that on Instagram or something like that, I feel like I would get kind of, you know, a bit of hate because, oh, Dracula is white. No, she's not. She's a vampire. She's just pale. My gosh.
No blood.
Yeah, you can't even see her in the mirror. So what's the problem? And then they'd be like, oh, why didn't you do Claudine? Like, oh my God, I can't.
Oh my God, because you know somebody say, oh, but they have Claudine, or oh, they have such and such. Right. Okay, but I want to be Dracula. What's the problem?
I want to be this person. Or if I want to be Frankie or Cleo.
Like, what's the problem? I want to be this person. And that's, again, another good point, because I definitely see, like, a lot of cosplayers. You know, TikTok, so many people cosplay on there and they, you know, showcase. And they do it, first of all, really, really well. Like, these Black cosplayers like look just like the characters. But it's this one girl, I can't remember her username. I'm going to find his username for these people. My bad, y'all. But I can't remember her username. But she does a lot of JJK cosplays. And when she was doing the cosplays, she got a lot of comments like, oh, you're ruining the anime. We don't like seeing that. You're doing it wrong. You'll never be this character.
Or it'd be like, good cosplay, wrong skin.
Yes. And it's like, wow. What do you gain from that? What do you really get from that? These people are expressing their love and admiration for this show. And what are you getting out of that from being negative? They're not doing anything wrong. They're actually being the character better than you are. Right? Okay, free self-promo. Come on now.
Exactly.
And it's like, when are we ever just going to see that all these people, we have something in common? Mm-hmm. Our commonality is that we love anime and we love the characters that anime represents.
Exactly.
Why do we have to get into, I look like this and I look more like them, so you can't be them because you don't look like them? Exactly. Why do we have to get into that?
That actually gives me another point, but I'm going to say something before that. But, like, recently I saw another cosplayer. She cosplayed as Nicole from Gumball Watson, you know, their mom. Mm-hmm. And somebody was like, Nicole's not Black. I'm like, she's a blue cat. She's a blue cat.
Blue?
What does that have to do with race? Like, people say, oh, race isn't everything. You're literally bringing it into everything.
It really is.
Like, if I cosplay a cat, literally a blue cat, or as their dad, as like a female version of their dad, they're gonna be like, you're not Black. Like, no, it's an animal. It's an animal. Like, I'm cosplaying an animal. Or like with Dracula, I'm cosplaying a vampire. Yes, they're supposed to be pale, but why can't it's Black vampires?
Okay.
Like, and then that just brings me to the other point of what you call it, like, your thing went out my phone.
Oh,
that bothered me. When you cosplay as certain things, like, why can't it be more like Black characters instead of thinking like one character that has darker skin is Black or a person of color? Like, it always leaves us questioning, and then it brings more arguments. Like, oh, you're just assuming that they're Black, or but it's like,
they're darker than
anime.
it'll never outright tell you. Like, there'll be signs, but obviously, first of all, anime is a completely different culture than black and white in general.
Exactly.
So first of all, we're entering a new space where the culture isn't our own, and we're trying to do it in a respectful way and pay homage to these characters. But yeah, you get the character who has kind of the darker skin, and you kind of have to be like, is this their black character? Is this giving us that? Is that who this is supposed to be?
Right.
When in all honesty, I mean, does it matter? Like,
Exactly.
we all like these characters, and all we're trying to do is showcase that, you know, we want to be you. Like, that's
Right.
all cosplay is. We want to be these characters who has these powers and can do these things. And another anime, which, I mean, people go back and forth if this is an anime or not, but Dragon Ball Z, like, when you brought up the Amazing World Gumball stuff, Stevie, my boyfriend's really loved Dragon Ball Z. Favorite anime / show ever. He loved Dragon Ball Z. But it's a lot of characters in there that skin's like green and red and all that stuff. And the community's like, oh no, they're black and then they're white. But it's like, are they really? Like, they're green.
They're just
like,
the color.
Right. I mean, I get the
color.
mannerisms, and people try to really force that bit, but they're green. Like you said,
Right.
she's a blue cat. I'm so lost. What are we talking about?
Exactly. And the thing I thought of before I had said that point is, why do, like, when other people, like, outside the black community get offended when we make stuff personally for us? Like, recently I had saw a news report where it was this white girl. She was offended that she couldn't get into this all-black, Call of Duty group because she's white. We have these spaces for us because we get reprimanded for liking games, anime, and stuff like that. Like, we make our own groups, but they want to still come in and invite themselves and then get mad when we say no. Like, you're telling her, you always, like, people online literally say, why don't you make your own characters? Why don't you make your own group for this? Why you have to be in ours? But then still get mad at us when we do it. Like,
it's time for y'all to see how it feels. You told us to get your own space and make your own stuff and create your own things, so now we are, and you see that it's better than yours and it's so much fun.
Right.
Now you think you have the entitlement and the authority to come in and be a part of it anyway, when it's not meant for you. There's some stuff here that is meant just for black people, because we don't have a lot of these spaces often. We don't have a lot of these opportunities to truly connect with people and just be black.
Right.
Like, you know, when you ever get in that group, or even movies like we talked about, like One of Them Days, it truly felt like wow, this is a black movie.
Yes.
A good black movie, a movie that's meant to bring community, and we can laugh about the things they went through because we can relate to it and bring examples from our own lives. And it also creates a sense of awkwardness when you try to say a joke or you try to say something that's black, and then you have the non-black person that's like, oh, I don't get that.
Right.
Or I don't know what that means.
Exactly.
Or they're like, oh, okay. But anyways, here's what I do. And it's like, that's not what that's for.
Exactly.
You know, that's not what that's meant to do. But yeah, no, I definitely agree about that. But yeah, before we wrap up,
I have did you have one last point, or I have?
Oh no, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Can we stop promoting white and black relationships? It's so many other interracial relationships. Like, why does it have to be with a white person, or have to be even with a black person? Like, you know, it's like Asian and Indian people that are together. Like, I saw that one time, and it was so cute. I was like, they're so cute together. Why can't y'all promote this type of interracial relationship? I'm so tired of seeing, like we said, with mixed people on the screen with a black father or a white mom. I'm tired of, or a black woman with a white man. And I'm like, I'm so tired of seeing it. Like, it's other people you can be with. Like I said, Asian and Indian. It could be Indian and Filipino. It can be, Thai and Korean. Like, why can't we do different cultural backgrounds?
I definitely think the word interracial has fallen really, really hard in the cups of black and white. Because I also think people are kind of scared to go underneath black and white. Because not to say it's easier, but it's easier, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
as far as like cultures and customs and traditions that you kind of have to do your research with, which I'm saying we definitely should, because there's so many people in this world that do not get highlighted. Exactly. That should be. And like you said, there's so many other interracial couples that probably don't even think they're interracial because they're not black and white. They're other things. There are other ethnicities that are together, or there are other races that are not, that are limited, I should say, that people don't talk about or think about. And they're like, oh, well, is this classified as interracial? Are we interracial? Are we two separate racials? Are we the same thing and we don't even know? I definitely think a lot of stuff I definitely think biracial and mixed has been branded to just be black and white, when people are so much more than black and white.
Right, it's so much more that could be into that box and stuff like that. Like, how you saying it might be like cultural differences or cultural like backgrounds. I want to see the struggle of like you marrying an Indian person and then you have a different like religion vision or something in them. I want to see
how does that go?
It's different than seeing black, and it's different from seeing white. I really want to see that on screen. Like, what did they go through to make this relationship work? Like, it would be so interesting to see that. Like, I would tune in all the time if it was a show.
That's a good take, honestly. I haven't heard that take a lot, honestly. That's a good take. I told her she has some good stuff. Okay, we've been yapping a lot.
We're yappers.
But it was really, really good. I told her I'd keep y'all notebooks open, and I better have been open today. But to wrap this up, Janae does a lot of content creation. She is on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. What else you on?
That's all.
That's it. She does a lot of that stuff. She does days in the life. She does reviews. She does mukbangs. She gets sponsorships. My girl has sponsorships under her belt. Look at them glasses. Sponsorship. Come on, hit her up. And she does so much stuff, and she's really, really good at it. This is definitely something that Janae has wanted to do for a long time, and I'm so happy she started doing it, and she's very consistent. Very consistent. So shout you out. I'm letting you do self promo. I don't let people do this often. You gotta pay me, but you know you don't have to pay me. I have to pay you? You don't have to pay me. Self promo.
Okay. Okay. My Instagram is my first name and last name, which is JANAE _VASSER, not AR, ER.
Clock that.
14, and then my TikTok is @LittleV14. It was a random name. Don't judge me for it.
Bro, what's the background?
Because I'm short.
Type. I like that, actually.
And I don't have a lot of followers on TikTok, but, you know, I just do that. And then for YouTube, it's Naes, NAES Lifestyle. And then I think it's like 1498.
Some random numbers.
Yeah, they gave me random numbers at the end. I didn't want that, but they just did that.
Right.
So.
But yes, follow my girl. She does so much interesting stuff. Like, if you like day in the lives, if you like the routine videos, the what I eat in a day videos.
I'm also about to start, I do have a business page that I want to dedicate to film. I'm also about to start doing movie reviews and talking about a lot of stuff in the film industry.
Telling you, hit her up. She does everything. Like, you want to book her? Bro, hit her up. Come on now. But all right, y'all, this was a really, really good episode. Like I said, I've been wanting to get Janae on here since All Shade Chocolate started, and I'm super happy you came on here. I feel like you finally get to put the face to the name of all the stories I've been telling and all the things I've said about me and Janae. No, I'm just like...
No, don't believe her. Oh, my God.
All the stuff I said about me and Janae from our childhood and things that we went through, this is her. This is the wonderful, wonderful Janae. Hopefully she'll be back sometime too. Oh, hold on now. Anyways, follow her on socials, all that stuff. And yeah, this has been All Shade Chocolate, where
Janae
and I have brought the sweetest, the hottest black culture to MSU. And remember to stay sweet. Bye.
Bye.